When you're planning your home, do you ever think about hoovering?
So everything I purchase is on legs. So then your robot vacuum cleaner can get around.
Welcome to Style Stories, brought to you by Easy Living Interiors, helping you transform your space and create the feeling of home.
Hi, I'm Jamie Griffin and welcome to our Style Stories podcast. In this episode, we're about to have a brilliant chat with one of Ireland's most well-known designers. He'll be sharing some great stories about how TV led his career in fashion and design, some behind-the-scenes stories of the Lennon Courtney brand, and lots about renovating his own home in Wicklow, all served with his signature wit, warmth and real-world expertise. It's time to relax on a Scott sofa in our Sandyford flagship store and welcome TV presenter and creative designer, Lennon Courtney. So Brendan, you've had a huge career from TV presenting to fashion design. How did your journey in fashion design start?
So I was living in the UK in London, and I brought back a TV show that's very well known, you're too young to remember, from the BBC, called The Clothes Show, which was originally hosted by Jeff Banks, Selena Scott and Karen Franklin on BBC One, and it was a Bible for us in Ireland. And then Ireland set up copied it basically. It was a magazine format, so it wasn't technically copying it. And it was called Head to Toe with Barbara McMahon and a couple of others. I can't remember the names now. But anyway, it was the only fashion access we had other than magazines. And then in 2005, I optioned the rights to The Clothes Show and brought it back, and then started presenting The Clothes Show with myself, Louise Redknapp, and Karen Franklin, one of the original presenters. And it was hugely successful. But I was interviewing people about fashion.
Yeah. And
I was making it up. So I went back and studied fashion at night in Central St. Martin's, which is where Galliano and McQueen and Stella McCartney all studied. And Central St. Martin's was just an electric place to go. I did it at night, did it for 3 years. So and sort of majored in pattern cutting and illustration.
Oh, no way.
And I loved it. I learned how to actually make a garment and understand the process. And then while I was doing The Clothes Show, RTE contacted me and asked me would I be interested in taking over a show called Off the Rails, which was the new format of Head to Toe, which I grew up looking at. And I was thrilled. And so that's how I started, yeah.
Oh, no way.
So through television, basically.
Okay,
yeah.
Jeez. So what made you get into the fashion and as
actually making clothes? So when we were, myself and Sonia Lennon, the other half of my brand, Lennon Courtney, we did that show, which Irish people, your mum would definitely know it. Irish people loved it. It was a very, very popular show because it was a journey. It was makeover. It's kind of like what Gok was doing in the UK. But around that, we had magazine elements, which we loved doing, which would cover Fashion Week, and we would do, High Street Guide to coats, and we do all sorts of stuff. And when we were doing the makeovers, we flipped each week. She would do one week, I'd do the next week, and sometimes we did them together. Every time I'd shop if I was doing a makeover on your mum or your sister or whatever, I'd bring her off shopping for a couple of days around Dublin or around Cork or wherever we were. And I noticed a gap. We noticed that good value, well-made, gorgeous clothes, there was a gap. There was a couple of brands doing it, but they were expensive. At the time, Victoria Beckham had just launched and very inspired by Roland Mouret, which I loved. All of that stuff, really loved. And there was nothing like that at an affordable price.
Yeah.
So that's really where the brand came in. We just, on the back of a beer mat one night, just started doodling ideas about what if we launched our own brand. And we met a man at a party. Sonia met this guy, Terry Wong, still a friend of ours, who is from the Wong dynasty, who are this massive Asian family from Hong Kong who make All Saints. They make loads of brands you've heard of. And he said, you guys are off the TV, because he's married to an Irish woman. And we were like, we are. And he said, let me help you set up your brand. And that's where it started 15 years ago.
No way.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We're still going. But now we do homeware, you see.
Yeah.
To fit in and around your beautiful furniture.
Around Easy Living Interiors.
That's it, yeah.
Were you kind of nervous then, setting up the business? Were you kind of oh God, we can do this?
What's really awful about getting a little older is if you asked me to do it again, I absolutely would not.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
I'd say it was.
It was the hardest. It was a PhD on crack. It was. We were on steroids doing it. We never paid ourselves for 4 years.
No way.
Our television work funded it.
Yeah.
We never took investment. We could have and we didn't. Mm-hmm. And in the 5th year, we had grown. We were in Harvey Nichols. We were in Wolf and Badger. We had Emer Melody, our PR in London. We were flying it, but the business model was broken. Mm-hmm. As we grew, we needed to employ more people, and we still weren't paying ourselves. And so we just kept going because we absolutely loved it, and people loved the product. We had it. Then we opened our own little retail shop in Dublin, and we were in about 30, maybe 40 boutiques in Ireland. Yeah. And so we were still going because we were really passionate about it. But then we sort of we flipped the model, we changed the model, we got bigger and wider, and then it started to work. But it took 5 years for it to start to work.
Okay, and like it was a lot of organic growth as well for you.
Well, it was pure organic, and the internet was really just starting to be a useful tool. And our first shop was online.
And how did you find like transitioning then to the internet side? Digital?
Traditional. We just stepped back then and went into Dunnes Stores, and we just became head of design and marketing of our brand, and they took all the heavy lifting off us. But we had done everything, sung the theme tune, wrote the theme tune, designed from conception, got the fabrics, oversaw the manufacture, did all the intakes, then did all the packing and selling out, and all the QS, everything. We did everything, and so I understand it very much. So when I meet people now and they say, "I'm going to start a brand," I'm like, okie dokie. Good luck with that. And I can't lie. It's just really hard.
Yeah.
And so we went in with Dunnes Stores, and that changed our lives.
Okay.
Completely transformed our business.
Jeez. Yeah. And look at you now.
And now we left Dunnes because we wanted to slow down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were really big, and they were so good for our business, and we're still really good friends with them. But we wanted to take a step back, look at the fabrics we were using, look at maybe being more makers than designers, and we wanted to do homeware. That was a big part. So we just stuck back. We were going to just do knitwear, actually. Irish made knitwear was out with, we had a big night out one night. We said, let's just do knitwear. And COVID made us rethink everything. And also we both had big birthdays, and we thought, what are we doing? Do we really want to be doing it big? Do we want to grow like this? So we stepped back, and then we had stepped back, and then Kilkenny came along, and we went in with the Kilkenny group, and that was 2 years ago. Wow. And home is eclipsing everything for us now, which is really interesting. Okay. So we still love the fashion, but for me, home is everything. And I think it might be an age thing as well, but I also think post-COVID, home became a space we stopped and looked around and went, actually, our living space is the most important space we're in. And we didn't think like that for a long time.
Oh, really?
I think we didn't think like that. I think we just took what we got, and, but then we looked and thought, actually, where I live is really important. Yeah,
I feel like COVID actually changed a lot of people's minds.
Really, and we reimagined the space to make it workable, but make it lock away. We were cooking. I learned to cook during COVID. I never cooked.
I still can't cook.
I learned to cook as well because for my diet reasons as well. I wanted to know what I was putting in my mouth. But I had renovated my apartment in Dublin before I bought the house in Wicklow, and this is how much I ate out. I put a tiny little cabinet fridge in the new kitchen, this tiny little low fridge.
Yeah.
That's what I had for COVID. A tiny little hotel room fridge.
Like a little mini fridge.
It's not actually a mini fridge, but it's a square fridge. It's useless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now I have a real fridge. I don't know what to do with it. I sleep in it. I have a big, tall fridge. I'm like, look at my fridge. I'm grown up. Yeah, I can freeze things now. The one in the apartment just was one of those little icebox things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, my God,
yeah,
stop.
It was a nightmare. Yeah, anyway.
Okay, so you worked on so many different shows, from the Lennon Courtney show to Off the Rails and Keys to My Life.
Yes.
Which one holds the most special place in your heart, and why?
Keys to My Life, obviously.
Yeah.
And Wanderlust, the very first show I presented. So I was a researcher on Open House with Mary and Marty, daytime television, just for the first one season. And when I was there, I got flown by the Irish Independent to review the gay scene in Manchester with my best pal Declan. And when we came back, we had so much fun. I was like, how do we get more of this? How to get more free flights, more free trips? And we were like, I said, okay, we'll do a TV show where we review them. So I wrote a TV show called Wanderlust, and then we made it a dating show. So it was before Catfish, it was for all those things. So it was called Wanderlust, and it was internet blind date. So people would meet online, and then we'd fly out, see if they were telling the truth, and then they'd have a date. And I did that for 4 years, it for the UK, and we sold it to 19 countries. Whoa. It was really successful. And that started my presenting career. So that is a big moment for me. And there's a lot of people my age, or slightly maybe 5 years younger than me, who remember it really well, because they would have been in their teens watching it. So I had this kind of reputation being this, and I was Ireland's first openly gay TV presenter, because it was a really flamboyant camp. I was really flamboyant camp show host. So that was a big gear changer for me. It brought me to the UK. After that, I did Ant and Dec Saturday Night Takeaway for 2 seasons, and then I did Blind Date with Cilla Black. And that was a big shift in my career. And then Keys to My Life, I suppose, because is at the other end, is what I'm doing right now. It's just a great privilege for people to trust you with their story, their life story, I've just been filming with Gloria Hunniford, who's, I suppose, TV royalty. She's just iconic. You probably don't know who she is, you're too young, but when we were growing up on television, Gloria Hunniford was this Northern Irish beautiful woman who was on everything. She still does Loose Women. She's 85. She presents on Loose Women, and she presents Rip Off Britain with Angela Rippon on BBC One, and she's 85. I was actually in London at her album launch at 85. Cliff Richard came. Like, it was amazing. But she's trusted us with her story now. Jim Sheridan, we just shot with, we're making him an hour special. So I love that. I forget I'm on camera sometimes when I'm listening to someone's story. I'm like so in their story. It's a real gift. I love doing it. Yeah. So we're in the middle of season 5 now. So yeah, keep going till they tell us to stop.
Do you feel like you're a bit of an empath?
I'm a total empath.
Really?
Yeah, my therapist told me that.
Really?
Yeah. And
do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
No.
Really? It is. It's like it's hit or miss. Like,
I much prefer empaths.
Me too.
Otherwise, they're narcissists if you're not an empath, right?
Yeah.
But I would say I think Irish people in general are empaths because Ireland is a nurturing motherland in paganism. So it naturally is a nurturing space. And we were oppressed for so long. So we're in this kind of we're a humble kind of nurturing people. So when I meet somebody who has no, I know I'm thinking of somebody right now who I just went the other day, you have no empathy. And they were like, I know. I was like, okay, I'm not hanging out with you anymore. So yeah, I'm an empath to the core. But yeah, I like being an empath.
And I feel like in Ireland as well, like, you know, like it's good to get therapy, like as you said, like, and counselling and stuff.
When I make millions and millions, I'm going to give everybody I know 10 sessions of counselling.
Oh, thanks so much.
Best thing I've ever done. Yeah. I'd have a brand new therapist now who I've just started working with about 6 months ago. And she's also quite spiritual. So she cleanses the room with sage, which is a bit hokey wokey for me, but it's still nice. Yeah. But she's a proper therapist as well. So she gets right into it.
Okay, that's really good as well, actually. How do you balance your career in TV and radio with your work as a fashion designer at Lennon Courtney?
Great question. And my work in television and radio is balanced by them, by the decision makers. And so when I get the gig, I go and do the gig. I'm first cover now for Radio 1 on a couple of shows, which suits me really down to the ground because I get to go in and be the inverted commas breath of fresh air. It's not my full-time job, but I get the glory of doing it and the buzz of doing. I love doing radio now. I didn't really like radio that much until about 4 years ago. And I think it was because I wasn't ready for it, because radio is kind of much different to television.
Do you feel like you have to keep talking more?
No, it's not harder. It's just different. And also in radio, I was a loose cannon when I was younger, and I had very strong opinions, and I wasn't afraid to be mouthy with my opinions. When you're doing radio now and with loads of experience, people want they want your personality, but they don't always want your opinion. And I think that's what I've learned, to calm down and actually be able to interview somebody and manage my own opinion of a circumstance. And that just takes getting old, basically. Just learning that skill of learning to shut up. I mean, the biggest skill I think I have now is listening. And I think that's very hard when you're young to listen, because you're very busy. So when you're older, actually actively listening to people is a real skill, and people really appreciate it as well. So radio is all about really listening and also knowing where you're going next, and it's immediate. And television is much more planned. Okay. Much more planned, a lot less fluid. And with Lennon Courtney, I always say it's like when we got to do Lennon Courtney, we were in our late 30s. It's like if Adele got her first record contract in her late 30s. Mm-hmm. We had so much in there, so many ideas. We had been, shoulder to shoulder with women for collectively 35 years. So we knew what every shape a sleeve can be, every width it should be. We had so much in there. So the design stuff is the super easy part for us. Mm-hmm. It's the actual, the marketing, and that's a bit legworky for us, but that's being fine. Like, I'm very good at taking time off. I'm super good at it. Yeah. I take time off. I'm good. I don't. People are saying, you're so busy. I'm like, yeah. That's because I put it on Instagram a lot. And when I'm not on Instagram, I'm off. Yeah. But yeah, so I kind of feel there are different silos that I kind of tap into one. And other than that work that you mentioned, I do a lot of live presenting, a lot. Probably that would take up a third of my time.
How would you find that?
It's live, so you're in front of a live audience, and
it's a bit nerve-wracking.
I don't get nervous anymore. I'm doing it a long time now. I just did the National Diversity and Inclusion Awards last Friday night, or Friday a week ago, sorry, because it was in London. And there was like 2,000 people, and I was like, get nervous. Because actually, if you're not nervous, you're not going to be as good.
Really?
You need to be a little bit nervous to be really switched on and be a little bit on fire. So, but I was just I've done this so many times. It's just like, I need to get nervous. So I wound myself up a little and I got nervous.
You're just panicking in the
I do
corner.
a lot of live work. But yeah, so I balance my time very easily. That's not a chore. It's about actually getting motivated to do stuff myself. I'm a big procrastinator.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not fun, I tend to leave it till the very last minute.
Same.
Yes. I think most people do, don't they? Yeah.
We'll get back to our interview in 30 seconds, but first a quick word on what we're up to right now.
Welcome to the home you've always dreamed of, thanks to the Easy Living Interiors Home Event Sale. With flexible finance options, it's never been easier to afford the look you love in sofas, dining, beds and accessories. And we've discounts in every department, from best-selling favourites to new spring arrivals. Plus garden furniture with fast delivery. Shop in-store or online now. The home event at Easy Living Interiors. Cork, Dublin, Navan, Naas, Wexford, Waterford, Carlow and Drogheda. Sale now on.
Can you tell us about a moment you remember during your time hosting Playdate or the Close Show?
Oh, Playdate. You pulled that out of the bag. That was with Kate Lawler, the girl who won Big Brother. Still a friend of mine, Kate. And it was a late night ITV1 dating show that was on 5 nights a week.
5 nights a week?
It was on 5 nights a week. We would go live to the ITV studios. Myself, Kate, Zoe Hardman, still one of my best friends. We were the hosts, and there would be like 8 guys, 8 girls, and people would ring in and ask to date them and chat them up on the phone. It was just the maddest thing ever. But a couple of times, a couple of the female dates didn't show up. So there was this one researcher, and she wore different weaves. So we'd put a new weave on her and stick her in and she'd pretend to be one of the dates. That was a lot of fun. It was wild.
You're writing a comedy as well, actually. Mammy Issues?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's a comedy drama, or dramedy, as they call it. And it's been in my head for 4 or 5 years now. I did a couple of documentaries with my parents when they were aging. One was called We Need to Talk About Dad. And then We Need to Talk About Mom. And when I made that documentary, I wanted to strangle my mother. She was driving me mad. And there was a lot of comedy in that about a gay son and a mother. And so that inspired it. It's loosely inspired by my relationship with my mother. But yeah, I'm writing that at the moment.
And how are you getting on? How are you getting on with the process and stuff?
I've never written I've written a script for an animation, which is in production at the moment. But
no way.
Yeah, called Cull.
Cull?
Yeah.
Oh, can you tell us what it's about?
Yeah. So Cull is my brother and my 2 nephews are animators. So
no way, that's really cool.
So I run in the park a lot, in Phoenix Park, and they cull the deer twice a year. And so the Cull is sort of Watership Down meets Bambi, 2 stags. One older, one younger, lock horns, like my relationship with my brother. And it's an 8-minute short. Yeah. And so, it's in production at the moment. And it's I wrote the script and I produced it, and it's with a company called Dream Logic, who are really established. I just took it to them and they liked it. So that was my first proper script. And now the script for Mammy Issues is obviously different because it's kind of sort of supposed to be real, whereas the animation is an animation about deers who talk. So it's a learning process.
So your show Wanderlust was groundbreaking. What inspired you to develop that idea? How did the audience react? So
as I said, I got a freebie trip to Manchester, and that was the inspiration to get more free trips, basically. And and to go travelling, I really wanted to travel, so I wrote a travel series. And after Wanderlust, actually, I did that for like 4 seasons, and then did it in the UK for a season. And then I ended up doing about 6 other travel series after that. Where's the best place you've ever gone? Where's the best place I've ever been? Well, wow. God. One that kind of like... My favourite country in the world is Greece. Why? Hands down. I've done 62 islands. No way. In Greece? Yeah. I backpack there all the time. Just go with tiny little backpack, just hand luggage, fly in. No, nothing booked. Yeah. Done that for about 6-7 years. And then I went to the Azores last year, which were amazing. And Madeira was amazing. Really beautiful. So I don't know. But Greece, I think, if I had to live somewhere else other than Ireland, Greece. My favourite country in the world is Ireland. Oh, we love to hear it. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, for sure. And you've been very supportive about issues surrounding like LGBT rights. I have. Including marriage equality. Yeah. Can you share some of us, like what inspired you for the activism? So, I'm a gay, and I was Ireland's first openly gay TV presenter. So I had a profile, and marriage equality was building. I was living in London, and I was back and forth a lot. And I was attacked on the street just before the marriage referendum in the march. And the next night I had to presented an IFTA at the IFTAs, and I had a big black eye. So I went. That was the Friday night, and that was a Saturday night. I was tacked on the Friday night. And on the Sunday morning, I was on the cover of every single newspaper. Huge, big picture of my black eye. I looked great with it, but a big black eye. And there was all gay TV presenter attacked, beaten to the ground. It was very extreme the way it was written. And so, yeah, I was mortified. I was horrified. I was, oh God, this is so embarrassing, because it wasn't that bad. There wasn't a woman down a laneway on my own. I was with friends. Somebody ran up and shouted faggot and punched me and ran off. So, but it was still not nice, obviously. But it was really interesting because it made a lot of people to call me and text me and come and see me saying, I didn't realise gay attacks still happen. And I was like, of course they still happen, we just live with it. And so it took a lot of people off the fence on marriage equality. And so I actively campaigned then. Yeah, I got really involved.
Yeah, and that is a huge story.
It was intense, let me tell you. And the night of it, I had to go and do an interview with Vincent Brown, and very cleverly, Vincent Brown hosted the political show on TV3 as it was then. They took over the George that night, and they brought all the, these cameras and crews, and they asked me to come in and do an interview. And at the end of it, Vincent Brown was like, there's a lovely clip that they have in, those Reeling in the Years show. It's of me in the George, which I'm very proud of, and I'm quite teary. And he said, have you anything to say to the people of Ireland? And I just kind of gulping back tears, I said, I'm sorry for doubting you. Thank you so much. This means so much to us. And he said, what are you going to do now? I said, I'm going home to bed. I'm wrecked. I'm tired. I'm exhausted from this. And so, yeah, that was cemented my desire to live back in Ireland, really. Again, just how sound it was.
And you came out in the 1990s, didn't you?
I came out when I was 19, yeah. Told my dad he was gay. And he said, about what?
Really?
Yeah. I came out when I was 19.
But that's huge. That was huge back then.
Well, it was still illegal to be gay.
Yeah, exactly.
It was 1991. I was 19 and I came out, and 2 years later it was decriminalised in 1993. So we used to have to sneak into gay bars. But it was really sexy. It was real, you knew you were part of a movement. You knew you were part of something subversive. Drag was really subversive. I was panties backing dancer. At 19 and 20, yeah, and we used to get free into nightclubs and free beer to just dance around in our hot pants.
But you should be really proud of yourself, though, coming out 2 years.
I'm pretty proud of myself. I think you can hear that in my voice. Yeah, no, coming out at 19, and I came out at 19 because my mum was a hairdresser, and there was loads of gays worked for her. Yeah. So, and my cousins, my two aunts, my mum's younger sisters are gay. And we kind of knew that, but wasn't talked about. And my cousin on my dad's side, Gerald, was called Tina. So there was a lot of gays around us. And so my family were very liberal, basically. So I was safe. Yeah. I knew a lot of older gays that parents just never spoke to them ever again when they came out. Yeah. So I was lucky. Mine were nice.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Huge.
Huge. Yeah.
So tell me about your recent purchase in Wicklow.
Oh, yeah.
And how you're enjoying the renovating.
Yeah. So I bought a house 2 doors from my sisters in Wicklow town up on a hill, and it was derelict and had been vacant for a couple of years. And when I walked in, I just looked up, and it has a full sea view at the back of the house. So it's really beautiful. And I could imagine what it could be like. And so that was a year and a half ago. And it's finished. Now I have to do the garden. So that's going to be my next project. But I thoroughly enjoyed every single part of it. And I think the key is I could keep my apartment in Dublin. So because I work in Dublin, and so I didn't have to move I couldn't live in it. I'd have to live in a tent. So I couldn't live in it because it was completely derelict, and it was fully I was so shocked when I went back the first day the first week they started to knock. They just left the front walls, two side walls and the roof. And the ceiling was gone, and the back wall was completely gone, and half of one of the side walls had fallen out.
No way.
It was just literally two and a half walls and a roof. And I was like, what if it just falls down? Yeah. I was like, literally, what if it just falls down? Because I was like, he said, don't worry, it won't fall down. I was like, it's falling down. Looks like it's falling down. So that was the only sort of, wow, God, I'm really doing this. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd go, put my hard hat on, meet the builder. I designed the interior of my house myself. I found this free app called Room Sketcher. And it only works on your laptop, but you can put the dimensions of the house in, and then you can literally design like an architect. You design. So I gave my Room Sketcher, which obviously didn't have, plumbing and electrics and all the, the facility stuff in. And my architect was brilliant. He was like, "Oh, you've kind of done all the work." Because my sister lives 2 doors. She bought it 22 years ago. I've spent every Christmas in that house. I know those houses. I know that house really well. I know where the sun rises, the sun sets. She's on the same road. So I know, and I had a good idea. I used to sit in my sister's house and I'd go, do you know what I'd do if this is my house? I'd knock that wall down there and I'd put that in there. So I had a head start on it. So I loved every moment of it. And then my favorite thing in the house is my, honest to God, and I'm not just blowing smoke, is my ottoman and my sofa that I got from Easy, from you guys. It's just stunning.
Oh, that's the Hyde sofa, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and it has a matching big armchair. And I thought the armchair might be weird. It's like a piece. It's like this beautiful piece in the corner and you can sit with the ottoman here, and then you can see the sea from the sofa.
Okay.
And it's so comfy.
Why did you choose those pieces?
Here's my little tip. So I put a full tiled floor everywhere, the same tile throughout, because it's actually a relatively small space. It's like 1,000 square feet. So that's fine. It's 3 bedrooms. It's fine. But I turned one of the bedrooms into a hallway / office / bedroom. And anyway, it's just the same flooring. But I have lived in an apartment which has the same tile flooring. And unless furniture is on legs, it just gathers dust. So everything I purchase is on legs.
Okay, no way.
So then your robot vacuum cleaner can get around. A robot vacuum cleaner. I did, yeah.
Is that another tip?
Jeez, it's life-changing. I know what you're talking. Sure, it's only me and the dog, and she sheds, as you can see. So I got a robot cleaner. But actually everything on legs means dust never gathers. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. And the toilets I had put in are the ones that are raised off the floor. You know, those ones that are attached to the wall. Like everything is up off the floor. And so that was a big feature for me picking that sofa. I also, that particular stuff, the Hyde, it's just a beautiful sofa. The minute I saw it, I was like, oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah, I love it.
That's such a good tip about
everything on legs, yeah. And so I also got my bed here, which, it's so good. And I met a guy here who's like the mattress nerd. He knew everything about mattresses. A really funky guy with long hair. Dave, oh my God, he knew everything. And he imparted it in a really understandable way, because actually I was overwhelmed by thinking about what mattress to get.
It is overwhelming.
It's really overwhelming because you just want to sit on it. But he explained how they were made and what they did. And honest to God, every time I get into that bed, I'm like, this is the most comfortable bed on the planet. Like, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the staff really do know their stuff.
That's really helpful.
Yeah. So when you're renovating your house, what did you learn? What did you kind of be like, if you had to give anyone advice and be like, here's the advice.
What I have learned with all big projects, whether it's starting your own label, trying to get a TV show going, or renovating a house, is everything takes twice as long as you think it's going to take. So give it that in your head. Say it's going to be 6 months. It's going to be a year. Mm-hmm. If it's going to be a year, it's going to be a year and a half. And unfortunately, renovating everything costs twice what you think it's going to cost.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And particularly in building at the moment, the cost has gone up. So I had a very healthy budget because I'd sold a home in London. So I had a very healthy budget to renovate, and I couldn't extend. And I couldn't do the garden. Yep. So building costs sadly are really expensive at the moment, but there's great grants to be had. My best thing I did though, my biggest piece of advice, and if you think about it, this is a tiny little 3-bedroomed, really 2.5 bedroom, if I'm really honest, because one of the bedrooms was absolutely tiny. So 1,000 square feet, so 1,000 meters, right? So it's a small space and a small garden. It's very cute. It'd be a very good first time buyer's house, for a young couple. That's the kind of space it is. And even with that tiny space, the best thing I did was employ a quantity surveyor. She was my first employee. For the whole project, she probably cost me about $8,000 or $10,000, but she probably saved me about $100,000. Because she's an accountant. She's like an architect accountant. So she looked at all the costs, and she literally would go, you can't do that. But if you can't do that, you could probably do this. So look at that. So my builder was like, you're very decisive. And I was like, no, because I have a QS. And she's going, you can't afford that. So I'd think about something like that. Yeah. So she could steer me into something I could afford. And so I didn't go over budget. Okay. Which is great. I mean, I came out absolutely broke. I didn't go over budget, like every penny gone. But I've got a lovely house and it's finished and I can sleep in it. And,
and it looks great.
Yeah, and it's A rated. So it's double A plus rated. So it means that I could benefit with a green mortgage, which is a much lower interest rate. Okay. Yeah, so she was brilliant. Geez, that was another good tip. Wasn't it? Well, you're all good tips, Brendan. QS, all the way. Quantity surveyor. And your new house, actually, which one are you most proud of? Which room? Yeah. That's a good question. I think the bathrooms are kind of amazing. Yeah. Because I took the advice of a tiler and I put these, they're completely sustainably made pink bricks on 2 feature walls in each a big feature wall in each bathroom, and that's really pretty but really simple. I suppose the living space is really lovely. It's the whole back wall is 4 massive big floor to ceiling doors that open back, and you can see the sea. I suppose that space is just beautiful. It's a very serene space.
Yeah,
I haven't clutter it yet. I try not to clutter it. That's my plan.
And I suppose it's nice living next to family as well.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I haven't cooked yet. That's the only thing. I'm constantly in there eating their food. I had Christmas dinner there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, everybody bought a course. There was 10 of us.
So since you have a big career, how do you balance your personal life and your professional life?
Very well.
Really?
My personal life is very important to me, yeah. Actually, and I used to say this as well, my personal life or my social life or whatever inspires my work. So when I'm very much like to be around people. But then again, I really enjoy my own company, to contradict myself as well. Because I work with people intensely and large groups of people very often, like sometimes like going to a wedding to me can feel like work sometimes.
I guess you. I'm actually the same.
Yeah, it can feel like a gig. It feels like loads of people. It's a very familiar setting to have lots of people around. So I just love an intimate dinner with a couple of friends. And that's very important to me. And I always make time for that. Yeah, I'm very good at balancing them. So I was just in London working, and then I stayed 2 days so I could catch up with friends there and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, I'm quite good at that now. I think it's very important.
So you've achieved loads in your career. Like, what is one proud achievement you can think of?
The fact that Lennon Courtney is still going is a massive achievement.
Yeah, that's class.
Because it's manufacturing, and manufacturing is deeply flawed as a process, especially if you're manufactured away from where you live, and you can't see the product until you see sort of first samples. So you understand then that actually when we started, 40% of what we designed would not work when it would arrive. Now we've got that much tighter, but we were learning as we went, and we were learning how to describe our illustrations properly to get what we want back. So manufacturing is very difficult. Also in manufacturing, you're dealing with massive brands who own their own warehouses and their own production facilities now all over the world. The big, huge retailers who, Zara's and H&M's own their own factories now, so they cut out any problems, and they're very hard to compete with then, because then they can do really good prices and stuff. So the fact that we're still going and we've managed to keep our market share with the people who like us, I think is a great achievement. And I suppose I have looked back over my career, and I've worked every year for 25 years in television. I've never not had a TV gig every year. So that's kind of remarkable. That is pretty cool to keep going. And that it's more about tenacity and I suppose being alert and aware of opportunities when they present them. That's luck. There's no such thing as luck. Luck is just preparation and timing. Yeah. Being ready when you see something and grabbing it.
You have a lot of passion in yourself, so.
Yeah, but I also now I'm a little lazier. I'm a little like, I don't want to do that. That's too much hard work. Yeah. So I'm learning to say no as you get older. Is a gift.
Was there any ever time like you overworked yourself?
Yeah.
And was like, you like,
oh God, yeah.
Lost your spark
loads of times, yeah. So yeah, traveling a lot and Wanderlust, I suppose, year 4, my sister was watching it and said, "You're not enjoying that, stop doing it." And I was in my early 30s then, and the people we were traveling with when they were still excited and in their early 20s, my sister was like, "You look like you don't like those people." And I didn't. Yeah. I was like, okay, time to move on. And then what I did though is I cancelled the show and moved on to something else. But actually what I've learned is to be a bit more patient. Impatience is my curse and my blessing at the same time. So impatience is what spurs me on, but impatience is very annoying to be around. And it can also make me end things before their time is up. Yeah. So I'm trying to learn patience as I get older. Okay. Yeah, I'm very impatient.
Hurry up.
My friends in England they'll say on my grave, "Hurry up." I'm
Really?
I'll be bringing my friend going, "Hurry up, hurry up." He's like, "Stop saying hurry up." Like, I've tried to remove that. So I'm trying to learn to be zen and learn patience. Yeah.
Is there any advice you'd give anyone to try break into the fashion industry or TV?
So if you wanted to break into television now, it's never been a better time. So when I wanted to get into television, I had to book a crew to do show reels, which was £500 a pop. So we'd do it with friends who wanted to get into television as well. I remember my friend Enda would do it with me, and then a female friend of mine. And then you'd have to cut the tape, go to a proper editor, and then send the tape in. And it could be rubbish, where now you have a device in your hand that allows you to record yourself, start your own channel. And that, like, presenters that are now moving on to mainstream have all come through Instagram now and TikTok. All of them. Kaylee, that girl on Dance with the Stars, TikTok. Eric Roberts, Instagram. So they've built their own channels, and now they're moving into the next sphere, which is linear television, which is a broader family audience, basically. But it's never been a better time to start your own platform, to start your own message, and to try and monetize it. Like, the platforms are allowing people to monetize now. It's also massively competitive now.
Yeah,
because you're playing on a world stage now. Also, write your own stuff. Come up with your own ideas. Know what you want to do.
That is true, actually.
Yeah, just don't wait for it. Nobody's going to knock on the door.
So, what advice would you give to people who are first time buying?
Yeah, I mean, I would speak to everyone who's already bought a house and ask them what their experience was, because it's very inspiring to hear how people got on the property ladder. The absolute first thing you do is you meet a mortgage advisor. You either meet a mortgage broker and they'll shop around for you, or you go to banks like AIB. Don't deal with brokers, they deal directly, to get an assessment on where you're at on your journey, because actually knowledge is power. Even if you're not ready to take your mortgage yet, you'll know where you are in the path. So my biggest advice is know where you're at in the game. Know if you're ready, if you're not ready. And often people are more ready than they think. So yeah, really. And any mortgage advisors will tell you that. People go, we're not really ready. And they go the process of application, which is very easy and quick now. And they go, yeah, you're kind of ready now. So mortgage advisor first, no messing. But also, in the same breath, it's an expensive time. So places like Easy Living Interiors offer credit. So you can get the furniture you want, and pay it down often in installments. So it can be made very affordable for you as well. So I think, looking at all your credit available options and talking to specialists about what's available to you will really, and spreadsheet. To-do list. It's even like, I always say, like, your finances are like your health. Only you look after them. There's an assumption that, we don't teach finance in school.
No,
properly.
we don't.
We really should teach personal budgeting. We teach accountancy, obviously, but we don't teach personal budgeting. That's game changing. When you learn how to operate. So I have a daily cash flow. I have a business and I present, but I have a daily cash flow. I know exactly what's going out in the month and I know what's coming in. I know if I'm short, I know if I've more over. And that daily cash flow, even if sometimes it's a little scary to look at, it just means I know what's happening. As opposed to what we do, I think people just tend to don't look at it until I have to actually look at it, until the bank screams no or something. But I think being aware of where you're at on your journey. So mortgage advisor, definitely start there, and then talk to places like Easy Living Interiors about credit for if you get in a house and there's no furniture in it and you need a sofa and a bed, they'll help you out.
Yeah, home will help you out. So Brendan, we're going to be finishing with a quick fire round.
Lovely.
Your top 5. This can be anything from holidays destinations, favourite restaurants, or any beaches or anything like that.
Top 5, just top 5 things.
Top 5 things.
Top 5 things. Now, it is true, but I'm going to say my Easy Living ottoman and armchair. It's actually one of my favourite things in the world. I actually look at it and want to kiss it, actually. I love it so much. The view from my new house, my family, and my innate sense of style, and my doggy, Nancy Drew.
Oh, that was absolutely perfect. Well, thanks so much for being on Style Stories.
Oh, thank you. I loved it. Thank you so much. It was really fun.
Thank you for joining us on Style Stories with Easy Living Interiors. You can hear all the news, including links to more information, in the description area of this podcast. Please share our show with a friend who might enjoy it. Simply search Style Stories with Easy Living Interiors on Apple, Spotify or YouTube. This podcast is produced by justpod.io for Easy Living Interiors.
Welcome to the home you've always dreamed of, thanks to the Easy Living Interiors home event sale. With flexible finance options, it's never been easier to afford the look you love in sofas, dining, beds and accessories. And we've discounts in every department, from best-selling favourites to new spring arrivals. Plus garden furniture with fast delivery. Shop in-store or online now. The home event at Easy Living Interiors. Cork, Dublin, Navan, Naas, Wexford, Waterford, Carlow and Drogheda. Sale now on.